Hi, Tom. This is Dylan Carlson with Courtney Love, and she needs you to call her right away with information on Hank Harrison. Please get back to her as soon as possible. Thank you.
Friday, 9:30 p.m.
Tom, this is Courtney, and my number is 206-860-0606. I just got some information about Callie, and I need to figure out with you if one jives with the other. I think I'm gonna call the Calabasas police on Monday. I found out from Erik that some horrible girl, this drug girl, his drug girlfriend, the one that on the whatever street, Boylston, moved to L.A. about a week ago, and this other girl told Erik, my Erik from my band, that she had been to the house on Wednesday, and just get sicker. I'm not going to leave it in your machine, but please call me, 206-860-0606. Bye.
Saturday, 2:11 p.m.
That's Saturday, June 11th.
This is Courtney. I'm calling for Mr. Klugman or Mr. Grant. Callie and Renee are staying at this rich guy named Jimmy Boyle's house. He's like this rock star, butt kisser, scary guy, and they're staying there with that girl Jennifer, and the drug dealer, and also Bonnie. Remember Bonnie and Joe that were the drug dealers on the hill? Well, Bonnie's with Jennifer as well. And that house is on 6th and Fairfax. Right behind, there's like a watchmaker person on the corner. There's an alley. Right behind that alley is this big mansion, and it's in the front. It's got big wrought iron gates with 2 lions. That's Jimmy Boyle's house. So that's where they are. And I don't know what they're doing, but I know that Renee is running around LA telling everybody that Kurt was his best friend, and all this stuff. It's like not true. And
Monday, 2:02 p.m.
That's Monday, June 13th. TL20 and TL22.
Let's say hello to Gary. Gary, tell us who you are, please.
I'm sorry?
Tell us who you are.
Yeah, I'm Mike DeWitt's father.
Yeah. What did you want to say?
What I want to say is I can't believe that this guy is going to make a huge score for absolutely no reason at all. Kurt Cobain killed himself. Period.
So what do you you think that our guest was out only to make a buck?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want a couple of bucks from the radio station. He doesn't want whatever he would get from a talk show. He's out for the big score. There's a lot of money in that.
Now, do you have any information or evidence to prove that what the police said, that this is a suicide, is true? I mean, have you seen the evidence?
Have I seen the evidence?
Yeah.
No, but I've known Courtney for about 5 years, and Mike is my son, and believe me, neither one of them is capable of something like that. And I also just talked to, when I heard this on the radio in my car, I couldn't believe it, so I called Sergeant Cameron at the Seattle Police.
Uh-huh.
I'll give you his phone number if you want.
You can give
and
it to
they're
us off
treating
the...
this guy like a nut.
I understand that. Now I'm going to ask you some questions. Again, understand where I'm coming from, Gary. I don't have an opinion about this at all. All I did was we put this guy on, we interviewed him, he said he had information, and at this moment, I still do not have an opinion. I would not jump in and say, oh, yes, absolutely.
He didn't give you any evidence.
I understand what you're saying, and again, I don't know if I'm the person he should be giving it to, or the police department is who it should be given to.
He's talked to them. They think he's nuts.
They think he's... Well, I understand that. Now, let me ask you a question, because I know a little bit about cops and a little bit about detectives, not a lot. Is it possible that cops don't like PIs messing in their business? You watch Magnum, you see that in the plot, but I mean, I've known people who said that's the case. Is that possible?
That's movie stuff.
You don't think that's true in real life?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe on an individual basis, but no.
Mm-hmm.
I called the police immediately when I heard about it the Friday morning, and I told them exactly where Mike was.
Mm-hmm.
And they spoke to him, and they took care of it.
Period.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you got on the air to say that, because we want as many people getting their opinions out about this as possible. And again, I have no opinion. I take no stand on this. I am not necessarily bowled over into believing anything, except that at most, I think the police department should look at it, and then if they want to blow it off, blow it off.
They already have.
Okay. All right, there you go. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, take care. 1-800-5800-TOM. Mike in Sacramento. You're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Tom?
Okay.
I want to applaud you for putting this on the air and at least bring up the speculation of it. I work for the musicians union who represents Nirvana and a few other rock bands, and believe me, I've seen a lot of people in this business, and you should look to who would profit from his death through record sales and other things and royalties and such.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that this is being brought up because, you know, it was all, like some other caller said earlier, it was all swept under the rug too quickly. You know, and the first gut instinct after watching the thing, I said, hey, there's somebody off this guy. I want to applaud you for putting it on because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and nasty stuff like this happens all the time, and nobody ever hears about that.
When I picked up that note and read it, it sounded phony to me.
Didn't it sound terribly phony?
It sounded like a set-up letter.
Absolutely. I agree.
You know, in talking to Dylan last night, I said, you know, I might not have even mentioned your name then. I might have just said it was somebody that was standing next to Courtney or something and overheard Courtney tell you to check the greenhouse. And he said, no, she never told me to check the greenhouse.
Wow.
So...
I mean, that's, you know, it's obvious that they're lying.
Yeah.
AFT 701.
And then they asked me to send them a fax of the note that Callie had given me, the sample in here, which I did. And they came back about a half an hour later and said they have very strong opinions that this was not written by the same person.
Well, we have submitted the writings we have to our crime lab. And I don't care if Callie writes a note or Courtney writes a note. That has nothing to. I mean, it has nothing to do with our investigation. If Kurt Cobain wrote the suicide note and the suicide note in Rome, then that's all I care about, basically.
You're not interested in the fact that a note shows up at the house, supposedly written by Callie. Turns out it wasn't written by Callie, and there's a possibility it was written by Courtney, and Courtney was in Los Angeles at the time.
How can you say when the note was written?
I was at the house the night before, and the note wasn't there, and it was there the next night. If you're not interested, I don't care, but I'm just giving you the information I have.
Right, and I understand that. But I think that your investigation is into things that our investigation doesn't apply to. Where, I mean, maybe, you know, you're concerned with what he was doing, where he was, and all that. And the only thing, I'll tell you, Tom, truthfully, normally our homicide unit does not even respond to suicides. If the patrol officer thinks it's a suicide and feels good about it, then he notifies the medical examiner's office, or he goes out there, they look at the body. If they're comfortable with it's a suicide, we don't even respond. Now we're involved in this thing because it is Kurt Cobain. Is
BEF 081 through 085.
And he set you up. It's really easy. They're tiny, so it's the size of a nickel. All right. Would you put it like where her phone is? I'm gonna give you $500 to do this. Okay. And Larry, you have to swear to me you're never gonna tell a fucking soul.
Swear to God.
Swear to God.
I'm very good at this.
Do you understand my motivation? I don't want to bust her. I don't want to bust him. I just want to find out where the fuck he is, that he's safe, and like if he's off, like getting your shit together, detoxing, writing, whatever, and like trying to make like change in his life, that's fine. If he wants a divorce, that's fine. Whatever's going to make him happy, that's what I want. If I decide this is the thing to do, I want you to do it for me. I want you to do it tonight or tomorrow, okay? And I'm going to have this guy get in touch with you, and it's not like a cop thing, okay? It's nothing to do with the cops. It's like a private thing, okay? So you'd be willing to do that without saying a goddamn word to anybody, okay?
Well,
Because if Caitlin, okay, for instance, one thing, even if Kurt's really fucked up, he's never fucked around on me. If he's fucking her, which I doubt, because she's such a skank, and all you gotta do is stick, where's her phone? In the living room or the bedroom?
It's usually in the living room.
Okay, well, there's two options. One is there's these things you can stick on the phone so that her phone could be bugged, and the other thing is to stick it in her house. So I need to talk and make a decision about this, but I mean, by midnight tonight, I'm going to know if Kurt's in town. And if he's not in town, then forget it. You're still getting, we're still getting $250,000 each for our publishing. I've got a life to live. My band, we've got a fucking Rolling Stone cover. Yeah, how cool is that? And they did read for the whole band for Rolling Stone. So, we're going to go in the top 10, and things are going to fucking look up. I can't let Kurt, pull me down. But I've got to know what he's doing, because with Kurt, he's like, yeah, well, fuck you. I don't even want to be in Nirvana. If Kurt wants to turn his nose up at $9.5 million at Lollapalooza, when we could have fucking played Lollapalooza and gotten a cut, and at least come home with $300,000 or $400,000, that's the part that pisses me off. Is he's fucked up our politics, and this includes your sister, so bad that, we won't get Lollapalooza even next year, even if we sell 2 million, because Kurt's fucking pulling out. Right? Okay, so if this happens tonight, it's going to be late, but you call her and you say you want $1,000, or whatever she's got left, and tell her if she cops for you tonight, that you'll give her an extra, if it's too late for it, you'll give her an extra $60, $70 or something, and I'll either wire it to her or someone will give it to you cash. Okay? And Larry, I have your word of honor on your mom Terry's grave. You're not gonna say a fucking word, right? You're on my side, right? All right, Larry, you totally have my respect. And I'll talk to you later. All right, not a fucking word, Larry. Okay? Zip. All right, dude.
BEF 180 and 196.
I don't know where the hell he is. He can't be in Seattle. He has 2 plane tickets. I just am curious if he bought a plane ticket for somebody else. And then I was figuring prices. Okay, he goes up to Seattle, he picks up his guitars, he flies to Atlanta, they're recording in Knoxville, so maybe there's no nonstop, and he goes to Knoxville, and then he goes back to Atlanta, and he buys maybe a round-trip ticket back to Seattle. That's all I can think of. And tomorrow, you can definitely find out through Delta, right, you think?